Hey guys, it's Rapid. Like always, I have some league gameplay for you guys, but first I want to redirect you to the bottom of the screen. Click on the link if you are interested in seeing Machinima's Dead Island live action trailer. It's really well made. It's worth seeing if you want to see it, so just wanted to tell you guys about that. Thanks again for watching.
With Crestwood, we've come to an area with a small town, and the region takes its name from that area. It's part of Ferelden, which was relatively untouched by the Blight, and we've come here in large part because this is a place we've already visited. The Inquisition has established its foothold here. We have taken control of an area, and our men are in position. And in response to that, enemies have decided to counterattack. Receiving word that that was coming, we've decided to come here because as Inquisitor, one of our core goals is to lead from the front, to be an inspiration to the people that we protect and the people that serve with us. As we make our way down to the beach, we can see what appear to be warboats in the water. That's a bad sign. We've probably got the enemy already making their landing. Also, we can see the coruscating green wall of energy. That's a symptom of the larger problem facing Ferelden right now. That giant breach in the sky that has ripped open a hole between the veil, the thing that keeps out the demons, is causing anomalies all throughout the world. This breach that we see here is a rift under the water. It's inaccessible to us at this point, but it's something we want to resolve long term. How we do that? Well, I'll leave that to you to find out when we play the game. In Dragon Age Inquisition, there will be a lot of fighting. Conflict is really the heart and soul of the franchise. And coming up ahead of us, of course, we have the enemies making their landing. As we do so, one thing that's very important to note is that combat does not automatically scale when you're out in the explored regions. The enemies there will be as tough as they're going to be, meaning sometimes they'll be far too difficult for you to defeat on first encounter. Other times, you'll be over-leveled for them, which is in fact the case for what we're encountering here. One of our goals with Inquisition is to make sure that you have as much control over your gameplay experience as possible. To that end, we've given you direct control of the camera. Close in with a locked-on camera to make sure you're tracking your target and never lose your focus. Further back allows you to see more of the battlefield and spread your attacks out accordingly. Doesn't sound good.
Your Eminence, the call to defend Crestwood. It wasn't outlaws like we thought. It's Red Templars. They attacked the village to draw us out, and then a larger force assaulted the keep. The old tunnels, Inquisitor. They'll be inside the walls before we can rally.
Above and beyond everything else, the Inquisitor is a leader. These men we see here are our men. They belong to the Inquisition, they've pledged to work with us, and they've fallen under attack, leaving us with a choice. Do we have them stay with the wounded, patch up as many of our troops as possible, possibly raising morale? Do we have them move to defend the village with whoever can still walk? Or do we send them back to the keep, having them focus their efforts on preserving the power base we've already built up? We're going to perceive that as the greater good for this playthrough, so that'll be the choice we select.
Get every able soldier on their feet. I want you defending the keep.
Inquisitor, I... Of course.
Go to the keep. What about Crestwood?
Crestwood needs the Inquisition strong.
Choices, of course, are defined by their consequence, what effect they have on your game. As we'll talk about a little later, sometimes this takes place in terms of content that you might see or might not see. But here you can see a specific example of Varric being quite upset at our decision. The reactions of your followers and their interactions are something that we consider to be the heart of the Dragon Age franchise. And that annoyance on Varric's part is going to come back to haunt us as we play through the game later on.
Right now. In Dragon Age Inquisition, actions speak louder than words. We could climb down there and try to protect Crestwood Village from those attacking forces. But we're going to stick to our previous decision, continue on to the keep to protect it. At this point, in order to avoid more troops, we're actually going to leave the road.
Inquisition will offer the player any number of opportunities. opportunities for discovery, opportunities to explore off the beaten path, opportunities to find ancient lore, cool treasures, ancient mystical items, or, as we'll see up here, the landing zone for the Red Templars' boats provides us with an opportunity to attack our enemies. As a counterattack, we can use fire that we've brought with us for just this kind of purpose and use it to destroy the boats, cutting off the retreat and preventing them from getting in our way later on in the course of the game.
Shall we join the fight? The tunnels are more vulnerable.
Taking out their landing boats is an absolutely worthwhile use of our time. And while we can see the rift up ahead is something that we want to deal with in the long term, we can see how time is already ticking down. The Inquisition's keep strength is falling. If we don't do something to prevent that from happening, we still stand a chance to lose it. As Mark said, our actions do speak louder than our words, and it's up to us to make sure that we're moving quickly enough to preserve our holdings. Caves dot the landscape of Inquisition. Any number of dark places for you to explore will require, of course, light, the most valuable ally in these kinds of spaces. This, you can see here, is an example of Veil Fire, a mystical flame that doesn't require any fuel, burns right off the raw essence of magic itself. It's very hard to create, but once you can find it, you can carry it with you in order to explore the dark caves. As an advantage, though, beyond regular flame, it has additional properties, causing magic to react accordingly. And normally we would stop here to investigate these markings and record them for our scholars, but with the keep still under attack, we have better things to do at the time. To this point, we've only controlled the Inquisitor with his two-handed sword. And while characters that would join you in your party will use their abilities to the best of their advantage and try to take out the enemies as quickly as they can, sometimes direct control, which is something we absolutely allow for every single party member, is what's needed to win the day. In this case, we'll switch to Cassandra. We'll use a rock armor potion, which will cause her to toughen up. And with that extra protection, she'll be able to use her warhorn to taunt the behemoth, get its attention, and then leave it open and focus on her. This is perfect, as she can then use her armor breaking abilities to shatter its protective coating, make it vulnerable to the rest of the party's attacks, and then we'll switch back to the Inquisitor and finish it off using his two-handed. It's important to note a few key things. While certainly being overleveled can help, bringing the right equipment, using your proper mix of spells, abilities, and of course teamwork can mitigate the damage you'll take. In every combat you can expect to take some damage. And while we can heal, we can absolutely bring out our healing potions to bear, and even use our alchemy system, which is the deepest we've ever explored in Dragon Age, to improve the number, the quantity, and the effectiveness of healing potions. Ultimately, the thing to note is that your health is not recovering after combat, and your potions are. This is fundamentally going to change the way you play Dragon Age, as it requires you to think long-term, rather than think of individual this group of guys. Our goal with Inquisition is to challenge our players to think about the adventure. From the moment you leave the Inquisition's safe holdings until the moment you return, you have limited resources. and you need to make them count.
At this point, we're going to jump ahead until after we've finished securing the key.
Get the gates prepared. Those things don't get a second chance at us.
Now, we noticed earlier there were some trebuchets firing at our key. Let's head over there and make sure that they've been secured.
We had time to prepare, thanks to the soldiers you sent back.
Looks like my men have things well in hand. Let's actually head up onto this ridge and take a look around. Now, as you can see, we're barely scratching the surface of this area. This area is vast, and we're just seeing a tiny, tiny part of it. Now, at this point, let's head back to Crestwood Village and assess what's happened while we've been gone. As you can see to the right here, there's actually a cave entrance. Caves riddle the areas in Dragon Age Inquisition. You'll be able to enter them without having a load screen. They're a seamless part of the play. Decisions in Dragon Age Inquisition have a consequence to the world and to your gameplay. Decisions are tough and they have hard-hitting consequences. In many cases, decisions you make will have lasting implications throughout the game.
Barracks, there's nothing to be gained by going there now.
Come on, Seeker. Don't you want to see our handiwork?
In some cases, doors will close forever. Slaughtered, Crestwood Village is gone. The story has ended, and your game has changed forever. This was a decision you made, and you have to live with the consequences. Obviously, this is going to have a lasting impact on your relationship with Varric, as well as closing off this area to allow you access. Now, we've shown you how your decisions can have the consequence of closing down access to content. Now let's jump ahead to a later part of the game and show how actions can actually unlock new content.
As you explore the Dragon Age Inquisition, you will be visiting all kinds of areas in this world. Sun-scorched deserts, demon-infested bogs, and icy mountaintops. All of this, ultimately, is in pursuit of your larger goal, bringing order to a world descending into chaos. For the next part, we're going to go to the western approach. It's an area far, far to the west. And there, we're going to realize that the Inquisition's influence has...
Dragon Age Inquisition is the biggest game our studio's ever made. The game is created from large and distinct areas, letting you explore much more of the world. This is a game of nations, so we cannot confine you to a single province. All the regions you visit will be of significance to the Inquisition. Each one is a reason for you to go there, and each one is huge and expansive, allowing you countless opportunities for exploration and discovery. The western approach is actually many times the size of Crestwood, but it still does not represent the largest area in Dragon Age Inquisition.
The western approach itself is barren, desolate, but it's not without its secrets. Dotting the landscape, you can see landmarks all around that are signs of the vast empire that once controlled this area. There's also signs of the Warden occupation. After the Second Blight, they built a line of mighty fortresses and watchtowers to hold the area and protect it from the darkspawn that were ravaging the lands. And as we look around, we can see any number of landmarks all around us, and each one of them is one we can reach. For now, our focus will be the green mist you can see on the horizon. A nearby landmark, something for us to check out and see what's happening with it. series of ramps, maybe stairs, something that shows sign of human habitat.